Hello. Welcome to the podcast formerly known as Emergency Protocol. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Denise.
That's still my mama.
And that's still my baby.
We're also still stressy and depressy, just with a new name.
Because apparently Emergency Protocol sounded too much like we were selling first aid kits.
So, welcome to 12 Steps for Everyone.
Whether you're in recovery like me,
or managing mental health like I am, these steps are the guardrails that keep us on the road.
Whether we're going one day at a time,
or just trying to conquer Laundry Mountain.
Let's get into it before we change the name again. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome back to Shit in Our Lives, part 20,000.
Yes. Yup. Life be lifin' again.
Life be lifin' and death be deathin'.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
Oof. Last week,
Mm-hmm.
last Saturday,
Two
Saturdays ago, our aunt passed away, my uncle's wife, and the funeral was this past Wednesday. And, you know, it was interesting in that, well, interesting. It's just sad when somebody passes away. And also, I'm glad she's not sick anymore and is just struggling through her sickness. But also interesting to see how everyone shows up for one another in times like that. I'm grateful that I know how to show up for people. Like I know how to be there. And we talked about before we started just now about what step we were going to talk about, and it's we're on step 8. We list each of the harms we've caused that require amends. And that's not exactly what I'm going to talk about, but it's more in step 9, in that, you know, I've lived my sober life to the best of my ability. Making living amends to the people that I didn't show up for before I got sober, where I disappeared, said I was going to do something I didn't do, didn't show up or call to let anybody know I wasn't coming. Those kind of things it caused worry, it caused harm, it caused anxiety in my family. And also, what is enough? When is enough? Living amends enough, right? So I've been living these amends for 40 years, sometimes overcompensating for, you know, things that I feel like I did in the past. And also to that, I know that I feel a part of, and I don't know, useful when I am being of service. Right. So after the service was over, one of the other aunties from her side of the family asked if I could help set up the food. And I just, you know, got into it. Right. I was like, pass me a platter, pass me a this, da 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 da. Like, you know, I am in it.
Yeah.
And then after your sister came to help me, and after a moment, I kind of looked up and I realized, oh, we're still here, like refilling the the Portos. And if you know, you know, LA people, we, you know, there was boxes and boxes of Portos, and you know, I was like, I think I can go sit down now. I don't think I need to stand here and man this booth for the entirety of this situation. Like everyone else is sitting down. Why am I still standing here when people can just help themselves out of a box, really? So that's just one little example of that. Also, I went to a meeting on Saturday. A friend introduced me to his friend he grew up with, whose daughter just moved into the area and didn't know anybody and didn't know where good, meetings were or anything like that. And
Mm.
so I offered to meet her at a meeting on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a meeting that I spoke at
Mm.
a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And someone from that meeting called me
Mm.
right after I spoke, but it was like right in the middle of this health crisis
Mm.
that my dad was experiencing, and I
Mm.
never got back to that person, and I don't know who it was. Like
Mm.
I just la la la, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I put my hand up to share and said, like, hey, if you I don't know if you're in this room or if you even remember,
Oh.
but if you called me after I spoke here and I didn't call you back, please, I'm so sorry.
Mm.
Please find me after the meeting. Nobody came up to me after the meeting, but
Mm.
I really feel like, those are the things where it's like it was still in me that I felt
Mm-hmm.
a shortcoming, right? But
Yeah.
it was, but I'm willing to like write it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know who that person is, or maybe they were just mad, or maybe it's like no big deal, and who knows what they
Mm-hmm.
were calling me about, and the thing they were calling me about is over. Like I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I can just let it go, right? Like
Mm.
I'm actually probably going to go back to that meeting.
Yeah.
It's a nice meeting, and
That's
it's
nice.
filled with a lot of different ages in
Mm.
both sobriety and
Mm-hmm.
life. And it's a nice, healthy, big meeting with good speakers. And I think it's a nice counterbalance to the Thursday nights that I've been going to. So trying to find some real in-person meetings. And I've also been weighing the
Mm.
idea of having a commitment somewhere, because having a commitment in the
Mm.
meeting forces me to connect deeper
Mm-hmm.
and build
Yes.
relationships over time. Because
Mm-hmm.
if I'm, like I just got there and somebody was setting up the chairs and I was like, do you need some help? And they said yes. And so I just
Mm.
started putting out chairs, right? Like I was there early to save a seat for me and this person I had never met.
Yeah.
So, you know, what it what that does is like, okay, if I'm helping set up chairs, for instance, then
Mm-hmm.
I also get to be friendly with the person who's bringing the chips and the secretary of the meeting and the treasurer of the meeting and all the other people who are
Mm-hmm.
facilitating this space on a weekly basis because they're consistently there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I've been struggling with,
Mm.
and maybe you can help me because this is on, not for you, but with you,
Mm-hmm.
how to create that same space, kind of
Mm.
space container
Mm-hmm.
for what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's not a traditional 12-step meeting
Mm-hmm.
where people would have commitments and have to show up every week.
Mm-hmm.
And having to show up every week is inconvenient. It
Yes,
it
it is.
requires something.
Yeah. Especially in a city like LA where there's traffic and so many things to do and restaurants to try and people to meet up with and just like life things. Yeah. I feel like we're kind of similar in that I was reflecting on that this past week. I really enjoy being able to be of service and helping people with things. And I think I have a harder time just showing up and being there with people. And people don't always want that either. It's easier, I think, for me to make a specific ask of like, hey, can you come sit with me while I like body double, do my homework or whatever, right? But I don't think I've ever been like, hey, I'm feeling sad today. Can you come and just sit with me? And I've also been thinking a lot about presence. That's like one of the pillars of the next organization that I'm doing my practicum at, which has been doing a lot of tornado relief and like aid in that space in North City. And one of the first things that they did was like they showed up the first day and they're like, okay, we're gonna have to show up again tomorrow. And then they just realized like they have to keep showing up because they're kept being in need. And there was like I mean, there were other community members and other like local organizations showing up, but there wasn't like the same kind of collective governmental response on federal, state, or like even at city level that I think people were expecting. And so one of the first things that they did was they put up signs and just said, like, we are going to be here every day. So you know
Mm,
that if you come here, we will be here and we will have hot meals and we will have charging stations and we will have water. And like you can just come and lay and like be in the shade. But cultivating that presence and establishing that and just showing up over and over again, I think was a big piece of what built a sense of safety within that space and reliability and like garnered the trust within that community of just showing up. So I think that's a big piece of it. I think you're onto something with the repeatedly showing up. And whether you have to have a commitment to do that or you just like make the commitment on your own to do that
mm,
doesn't really matter.
mm-hmm,
And so I think part of that is also just on you and I to hold that space continuously, whether or not people show up. Because we've had meetings that we've scheduled online where we've been the only two people there, right?
mm-hmm.
And sometimes we'll have a meeting just the two of us. And sometimes we're like, like I'm just gonna go read a book, right? And you're like, great, I'm gonna go read a book too. And I think maybe that's a practice that we could lean into more is like build the thing, as Kim likes to say, like build the thing we want to
Mm-hmm.
see, right? That's what I think.
I know I love that, but I also think there needs to be an in-person component and a
Mm,
virtual component, right? So
mm-hmm,
that people can join
mm-hmm,
wherever they are
mm-hmm,
in the world. But maybe that looks like you have people together in a
mm-hmm,
room where you are
mm-hmm,
with a Zoom also going
mm-hmm,
and of the room where I am,
hmm.
where there's people in the room. I don't know that we've done that before, and I don't know the
No.
logistics of how that would work. And I also think like we've tried Sundays at 10 and Saturdays at 10, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that our people are people who do stuff and are busy.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe a weeknight is also going to
Okay.
be better. Like, it's harder
Yeah.
because there's people are tired during the middle of the week, but the
Yeah.
middle of the week is also the time where, when the sun goes down, it
Mm-hmm.
hits us different than the
Yeah.
weekend because there are so many distractions to and ways to get out of the house and things,
Yeah.
right? Especially in the fall when it gets dark earlier and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, okay, now I'm here alone in my
Mm-hmm.
house,
Yes.
right? And it's dark and I haven't eaten, so I might
Mm-hmm.
be a little halty, hungry, angry,
Mm-hmm.
lonely, tired, and as Jackie adds, horny, halty, halty H.
Uh-huh. Health.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
little halty. And
Yes.
yeah, I think we could dig around in that a little bit and see if there's some sort of solution to come up with.
Sure.
And I've also been toying with the idea of creating a like kind of workshop. I don't know if doing the
Mm.
workshop feels too homeworky at this
Mm.
point because everyone I know is just so fucking tired.
Yeah.
Like everyone I talk to is feeling burnt.
Living
Oh,
through the fall of the American Empire will do that to you.
yes. On top of just keeping your day job going,
Uh-huh.
on top of, losing a loved one, on top of like
Yeah.
doing 12-step calls and, I mean,
I okay,
yeah,
wait.
yeah.
Also, I feel like we're at an interesting time because your generation and my generation are officially now both sandwich generations because our seniors are living longer. And so you're having to care for your elders and also look after kids, right? Or your friends are looking after their parents and their grandkids or their aunt and their niece or whatever. And my generation is also starting to have to care for our parents or our elders, from caregivers, and also some of my peers are starting their own families and having to care on the opposite end. Right. And so we have like a double sandwich generation on top of everybody needing to work and pay bills and live in a world where we have so much information. We're aware of so many things. And
So,
maybe also dealing with our own health issues too.
right.
Right. So it's just like all of the things. We're at like a double generational cusp situation. And it's tiring. I
Yeah.
did a yin yoga class the other day and it was really nice to just like lay there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taken, I think most of my 20s, I spent time exercising, thinking that I needed to push myself as hard as possible because when I was in high school, learning how to exercise my body, that was the goal, was like harder, better, faster, stronger, like that stupid song.
Mm-hmm.
Not stupid, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And like you're trying to max out, you're trying to get better and faster and push yourself like 100% or more as much as possible with the goal of increasing your performance. And when you're not playing in a competitive sport, that pressure or like the need for that level of performance goes away, but my brain did not catch up with that. And so I felt
Mm-hmm.
that like every run needed to be like a fat burning sprint hill run, right? Like, and that wasn't necessarily the case. And so it took a long time for me to recognize that my body needed to move in slower ways and more nourishing ways,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. I've been thinking that too, because
Mm,
spikes in cortisol levels are not good for
mm,
for my age group. And I was like,
mm-hmm,
oh, that's why Tai Chi and things like that are actually really good exercises
mm-hmm.
for older people because they keep you flexible and strong and able to like crouch down and stand back up on your own 2 feet without falling over, right?
Yeah.
And so it's good for balance and all the
Mm-hmm.
other things. So yeah, I totally agree. I
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are in a weird situation where, I definitely had, two different things with my mom and my dad this week,
Mm-hmm.
and where they needed my help,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy to help them, right?
Sure.
And I also get that sense that, while they need my help, they're really uncomfortable with the idea that they feel like they're being a burden to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that feels sad because I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy to help, right? Like I'm glad that I'm here to be able to help them navigate
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And yeah, it is challenging sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not that I wouldn't want to do it. Like I
Right.
want to be helpful to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's challenging to be the receiver of the
Mm-hmm.
help. And that's something that I'm working on right now with the format of this retreat that I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
which is usually on steps 6 and 7, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
identifying behaviors
Mm-hmm.
and why we have a sense of safety around these behaviors that are actually destructive for us,
Mm-hmm.
and then for us or other people, and then how do we allow help in? How do we
Mm-hmm.
surrender this armor, so to speak,
Mm.
that sometimes we're not even aware of that we have to,
Yeah.
it's like armadillo shell
Mm-hmm.
to protect the underbelly.
Yes. That was one of the questions they used to ask at Boss Ladies. They,
Mhm.
meaning Chelsea, was like, what do you need? Like, what support would be helpful for you right now? And like, ask it in case anybody in this group can help you.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
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 But it's also like, shit, can I just say, like, I need more clients? Please refer me clients, right? Or whatever
Yes.
the ask is, you
Yes.
know?
And that's the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, how about, the weirdness of asking for what you actually need?
Mm-hmm.
And that is like, I need more clients, right? That
Yeah.
that may be the actual need that you have. And then asking for it does that make it weird? Or does it, I think anybody who's an entrepreneur needs more clients.
Right.
I think
Right.
that's a universal thing.
Right. But at the same time, I feel like culturally, it's like you should be able to like source all your own business yourself, right? And like be able to just go out and like wave your magic wand and bootstrap your way into success
Right, but who
without recognizing it's like interdependence and relationships and whatever,
right.
right?
And because of that,
Yeah.
people are afraid to pick up the phone and call past clients or call current
Yeah.
clients or call anybody. And not even to ask them for business, just to check in on them. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's been 3 months, so now I can't call them ever again.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So silly. I think that also, I've definitely talked about this before, but like right now, I generally feel pretty good about how I show up in my relationships and taking responsibility when I like hurt somebody or there's tension or, whatever, fill in the blank. But I have a harder time with like amends to myself or to my past self. And maybe one of those that I need to work on is like asking for more support or help still. Even
Hmm.
though I'm like continuously feeling like I'm humbling myself by saying like I can't do this right now or like I can't do it this way
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that needs to be part of my practice.
Absolutely. I think people often don't put themselves down on that list of harms. And there's so many ways that we harm ourselves, whether
Yeah.
it's negative self-talk or negative behaviors, you
Not
know.
listening to, yeah, not even not listening to hunger cues, but just being so disconnected from my body that I don't even recognize what my physical needs are till it's like urgent. Where I'm like, oh shit, I have to pee right now.
Right. Exactly. Or I need to cry, or I
Hmm.
need to whatever. Like
Yeah.
I was definitely I watched beautiful what is it? Strange Beautiful Creatures. What's the
Oh, the octopus one?
yes.
Mm,
And it was just
beautifully
like
strange creatures?
something like that.
Something
I
like
I
that.
read the book and I really loved it. And then
Yes. With
uh
Sally Field,
oh
right?
my God, yes. And I was just like,
Uh,
why am I crying so much right now? But it was just
it's
like
about
that.
connection and presence.
Right? I was like, oh, but it could be heated rivalry on an ice rink, or it could be an octopus. It just
Hmm.
anything can set me off,
Yeah.
and that's okay. I'm not a big crier, but I feel like
Mm.
I am now.
I'm a big crier. Yeah. I love a cry. I
Yeah.
love a shower cry. I love a movie cry. I
Yeah.
love when I feel like I can't cry watching something I know will make me cry to
Yes.
facilitate it.
Yes. The dam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes also just being like, I want to cry right now and I have no fucking clue. And just because I don't know why I want to cry doesn't mean I need to stop myself from crying.
Mm.
That's been a really interesting experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I know. I was listening to a book and something happens in this book, and I am driving back from Palm Springs from this
Mm.
work retreat. And I'm like, no, no, no. And like literally tears running down my face, like on the freeway
Oh
going
no.
65. Like, oh my God. Like, do I need to
Uh,
pause this or should I just let this pass? But
yeah.
I was just like,
Oh.
it's whatever. It is what
Yeah.
it is. I think it's the thing what you said, it's like connection. It's like when
Mm.
you're listening or reading or connecting or whether that's with something outside of you like a book or a movie or a song or just within you where it's like
Hmm.
all of a sudden I just feel like crying. I have no idea why. And it could be like anything. It could just be hormones,
Anything.
right? Like it could be not a thing. It
Yeah.
could just be your body needing to let go in some
Mm-hmm.
way that is like, you know, chemically,
Yes.
a chemical release, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we overjudge it a lot of
Yeah.
times. And I also think it's really hard for men to cry. But I've now experienced like, several meetings where there's crying on the regular, and I
Yeah.
love that there's this safe space. And again,
Mm-hmm.
going back to this container, there's a space where it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to show up no matter what who you are
Mm-hmm.
and cry about both the gifts and the
Mm-hmm.
sadnesses of life, right? Like if that's who you
Yes.
are, then that's who you are, right? And
Yes.
yeah.
And not that all roads lead to Rosque and we can do hard things, but they do always lead to Rosque and we can do hard things. Have you listened to that episode? It's from a couple years ago where Rosque was on We Can Do Hard Things.
Yes.
It's so good. And that's one of the things he talks about is like he didn't even recognize that like what he was feeling was like an impulse to cry
Yeah.
for like a lot of his life. He didn't realize that.
Oh,
I know.
so tender. And if you haven't read the Book of Delights, please dive into that because it
Hmm.
is a delight.
Delight.
Um,
Particularly the audiobook because it's read by the author, which we
yeah,
always love.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the book that I just read that made me cry, in case people are like, what book
Mm.
was it?
Yes.
It was called Theo of Golden.
Theo of Golden. Okay. I'll add it
Yes.
to my Libby.
And it was super tender and sweet, and
Mm.
the connections that this man makes with his community are so beautiful. It was really one of my favorite books that I've read this year. And
Mm.
I go through a lot of
You
books.
do. Yes.
Um, and it also kind of was like, oh, that's the kind of person I want to be, right?
Mm.
That's the kind of person I think I actually am, but it's
Oh,
also the person I want to be, right? Like
that's so sweet.
the person who sees people no matter what their
Mm.
socioeconomic thing is
Mm-hmm. Mm.
and is there. And actually that made me think of something your sister said to me, and she was like,
Mm.
she was grateful that I'm an example of like acknowledging people. And she's like, just because now that she's older and is like going out with her friends and doing stuff with people, she
Mm-hmm.
realizes like not all her friends are very kind to service people. Not all her friends acknowledge
Mm.
the person who's bringing you
Gross.
your coffee or,
Yeah.
right, you say gross, but so many people stick their noses down at
Mm.
service workers, whether that's somebody who's coming to clean the office or somebody who is mowing your lawn, or if it's somebody like your boss, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I think that people, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
people are afraid to, not afraid, I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm glad
Mm.
that I did show that it's important
Yeah.
to say hi. I
Mm-hmm.
read an Upworthy thing last week about a person who worked in I think it was like a bodega in New
Mm.
York, and it was open 24 hours. And there
Mm.
were a certain group of people that would come in very like in the wee hours of the morning. And one
Mm.
of them was an old man. And the old man asked the cashier if they would just write something on their receipt just because they, you know, don't get interact with people very much. And so it was like a thank you or something like that. Later to find out this person would come in. And so he started writing something on this guy's receipt all the
Mm.
time, then started writing something on everyone's receipts.
Oh.
And it turned out this guy saved all these receipts on his refrigerator and said, like, that is the only interaction that he had with anybody. And
Mm-hmm.
then he realized there was a young woman who was coming in who was also not engaged with anybody. Started writing. Then the bodega decided to put a bench out in front of the bodega so that people who came in the middle of the night would have a place to be with other
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so freaking cool. And it goes back to
Oh.
this thing that I'm saying. It's like
Mm-hmm.
in the, in the age that we're in,
Mm-hmm.
where people are turning to AI for
Mm-hmm.
to have a best friend,
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that they can find a place to be with actual people who might
Mm-hmm.
have a difference of opinion, who might want to check them on their thoughts, who might want to, offer a different perspective
Mm-hmm.
than just agreement. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's a, I think, a scary place that we're not
Mm-hmm.
just entering, but have entered.
Yeah. I know for me, definitely part of that was like health anxiety motivated too. Like we're still kind of technically mid-pandemic, right? Like COVID is around and is a risk. We don't, it's new, so we don't really know what the like consequences are health-wise. That was part of it. And also I was very worried about air quality in LA after the fires, and I'm still worried about that. But that made me want to do things with people less and leave my home less.
Mm,
It just didn't feel safe. So part of
right.
that is also like acknowledging for some people who do have health risks, it is not safe for them, right? And some people
Yeah.
still have to go out and work anyway. So they're at the grocery checkout with their mask on because they have to be there,
Right.
right? So, but yeah, showing up, being vulnerable to the extent that it feels relatively safe, it's still hard.
It's still hard, and there's places
Still
where it's
hard.
not safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to another book, and it's about leadership, and
Mm,
you know, it's hard to show up and feel safe when there could be real consequences to doing that, right?
mm-hmm.
Whether it's a DEI reason, or
Mm,
or a mother on the job reason, like
mm,
women in powerful positions are leaving the workforce
mm-hmm.
because they can't balance the expectations of parenting and jobs the way that men
Mm-hmm.
can. No surprise, but
Mm-hmm.
because the expectations are just fucked.
Yeah. And that
And
goes back to communicating needs. And also, it's not always safe for people to do that in their relationships at home or, and it doesn't always have to necessarily be like male, female. It could go the other way too, right? And there is that dynamic, there are like imbalances in mental load and domestic responsibilities in same-sex relationships too. I definitely don't want to like say it's just a male female hetero thing, right? Because that
mhm,
does a huge disservice to all the people who are affected who fall outside of that. But yeah, the expectation for one partner to work full time and also carry a majority of the responsibilities at home is not sustainable or fair.
right. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, we're
Anyway.
totally off the step 8 topic on that one, but
No, we're not. I feel
are
like it
we?
is all connected. I mean, in my mind, I'm always that guy from the Always Sunny meme where he's like holding the pen and there's like all the red strings there. I've never even seen the episode or like I don't even know his name, but I always see this meme and I always feel like that's me because I'm always like, wait, but this kid, like that's this and that and that. And it does feel all connected to me because a lot of it does go back to like asking for what you need, showing up. And when you
Right.
show up, being present enough to actually receive, right? And accurately one of the things that Ross Gay, I just listened to that podcast again, that We Can Do Hard Things with Ross Gay. And one of the things he talked about in like relationships was like not assuming that you know the person just because you've been together for all this time,
Mm,
right? It's like constant, it's a commitment to constantly unknowing and relearning somebody. And that
mhm.
happens as a parent too. I was
Yeah.
really struck when he said that.
Yeah, for sure. But I also think there is the economic costs of that. Some people don't
Mm,
have the resources to ask for help or where that help. You know what I mean? Like
sure.
there's,
Yeah. That's
you
where you get
know,
into like systemic racism and oppression.
right. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And so,
Yep.
and how do amends work for something like that where,
Mm-hmm.
in the real estate business, I can say, there's been systemic reasons why people of color have lost their homes,
Mm-hmm.
can't buy homes,
Mm-hmm.
called redlining, where they won't lend or
Or
value
can't make a profit.
or
No, yeah.
appraise the
Mm-hmm.
house in the same way. Or
Or it
maybe the
was a
house,
historically redlined neighborhood. They can't make money selling their home because there's no infrastructure or investment in the area.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or there's eminent domain where we're just going to take your home and put a freeway over it because
Or a
this is a
stadium.
prosperous, right,
Yeah.
community, and we're just going to take this.
Yeah.
This is just ours now.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of
You becoming
reasons.
radicalized. I love this for you.
I think no, I've known this for a long time, but I just
Uh,
had to redo my 45 hours of
you just in
renewal.
your
So
seats.
I just had to study like all of this continuing
Uh-huh.
education. So it's just fresh
Yeah.
in my brain.
I love
But it's
that.
also,
Mm.
it's true. I've learned about it I've been doing
Mm-hmm.
this for since 1989. I've been in real estate. So I'm, keenly aware of, you know, agents who had to be fired because they said that, different people were moving into a neighborhood and your property value is going to go down. Yeah. So out you go.
Jesus.
Right? I have seen people get treated differently in
Mm.
an open house. I
Mm-hmm.
have heard agents say things that they shouldn't say, right? Like
Mm.
I'm keenly aware of, and that also keeps changing, kind of going back to relearning,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's
Mm-hmm.
also new things that should not be said. There are
Mm-hmm.
new ways that you need to behave that
Mm-hmm.
are even different from what I learned in the 80s and then in the 90s and now in the, like 40 years have
Mm-hmm.
changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, there used to be covenants title in the title that
Mm-hmm.
said people of color can't buy here.
Yeah. And they're still there. They're just not legally enforceable. Like they
Right.
still exist.
Yeah, if you dig in, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just unbelievable. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
but what that has caused
Mm.
is a generational loss of wealth for people
Mm-hmm.
of color
Mm-hmm.
in ways that white people don't experience.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Mm-hmm.
how is that amend made?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think some cities are doing stuff. Manhattan Beach
Mm-hmm.
did some reparations to a family whose home they took and made into a park.
Oh, the beach. Yeah.
I think Santa Monica's visiting some things. I think there's ways that they're starting to do, but it's like,
Mm.
how do you make up for that time?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, I mean, relating it to the company I work for, where they invested over $1 billion in the infrastructure of this technology.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody that can catch us now, right? Like
Mm.
like we are so far ahead in
Mm.
the game
Mm-hmm.
that I don't see how anybody who's just starting now, there's no environment for them to be given $1 billion to build a
Mm-hmm.
technology. we are leaps ahead in my company,
Mm-hmm.
but I do have a Black founder who
Mm-hmm.
has a lot of women in positions of leadership and who
Mm-hmm.
does see diversity as a important piece and listens to me when I actually call it out on different levels. And
Mm-hmm.
I so appreciate that. And it doesn't get played up enough that this
Mm-hmm.
founder, what he's done, is such a big example of
Mm-hmm.
what can be done.
Yeah. Well,
Wrapping it up,
yeah.
we list each of the harms we've caused that require amends. Now, I just want to, in this, in the framework of the 12 steps for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say like this step 8 goes all the
Mm-hmm.
way back to step 4.
Mm-hmm.
And that is with courage, honesty, and curiosity, we write the stories of the fears, shame, and resentments we carry with us.
Mm-hmm.
All of those fears, shames, and resentments were asked to look at also our part in it,
Mm-hmm.
which often it's like, okay, I have a resentment because this person said or did or whatever this.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't often look at, well, before they said that, I might have poked the bear a little, or I might
Mm-hmm.
have retaliated in a really shitty way that still sits with me. Or
Mm-hmm.
it might be as something as simple as I didn't return a phone call of somebody who I didn't know calling me after a meeting a few weeks ago, and I was in the middle of my own thing and
Mm-hmm.
now have lost the thread, right? So
Yeah.
like it could be there's a varying range, or it could be like, hey, I
Mm.
need to pay a moving vehicle ticket that it has not been paid. So I
Yeah.
can quit looking over my shoulder for police to pull me over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, that was one amends that I had to make
I
when I got
know.
sober.
Yep.
So there's all different kinds of ways that this list is. It
Yeah.
could be the IRS. There are lots of people,
Mm-hmm.
it could be all kinds of things, but going back to
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, what
Mm-hmm.
is it that we could do?
Mm-hmm.
What's on the list of the harm that we've caused to
Mm-hmm.
ourselves that might need to be listed that hasn't been looked at?
Mm-hmm.
So powerful. Okay. I love you.
I love you too.
I have to say, like this morning and this week, I was like, why do we do this? Why are we still doing this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is anybody listening? Does it even matter? Do we even
Yeah.
care? Like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But then I have these conversations with you, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck it. I love having these
Yeah.
conversations with
I
you.
know.
And if this is all it is,
Yeah.
I'm good.
I know. Right? In 30 years, I'll be listening back to these and sobbing.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
I love you so much.
I love you too, Maji.
All right. Well,
Alrighty.
drink
Five,
some
four, three, two,
water.
one.
Yes.
All
Five, four,
right.
three, two, one.
Close your eyes unless you're driving and it's not safe to do so. Think about something that you're grateful for. And we're going to take a deep breath in and exhale. Five, four, three, two, one. Yay.
Yay.
We did it.
Okay.
I
Now I'm
love
gonna
you.
go get my roots done. Okay.
Okay.
Gray.
Yep.
My natural color is. It is not brown or
Okay.
orange. It is gray.
Are we leaving this in the episode?
Heck yeah, we are.
Okay, it's just so everybody who's listening knows she's leaning into the camera and showing her roots. In case you.
I look like a Santa Maria Novella candle with the light coming off of my
Okay. All right.
except for it's gray.
Except it's gray hairs, gray baby hairs.
Yeah.
Okay, you're a goof. I love you. Go
Love
drink
you.
some water. I'm gonna
Okay.
drink some water.
Have a
Okay.
great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. We want to hear from you.
Find us on Instagram and TikTok at 12 Steps for Everyone. That's at the number 12, steps for everyone.
Please like and follow us. You can also send us topics you want us to dig into or follow-up questions from each episode.
And if you know someone who would enjoy or benefit from our conversations, please feel free to share this with them. All are welcome here.